Hey everybody. It is just me today. Everyone is off working at home, so it's great to see you. Hello everybody. I gotta say my line. Anyway, it's great to be here. I missed last week, so I offered to do this one this week so I could see your face and appreciate you and show gratitude for you to be here. We are coming up on Thanksgiving after all, which is one of my favorite times to reflect back on the year and appreciate all of the blessings that we've had. We are living the dream over here. So, health, wealth, and happiness. We can't have more than that. So, anyway, announcements for the week. We are having a happy hour tomorrow. So, if you did not get the news, we are going to. It's Happy Women's Entrepreneurship Day. And so we're going to have a little happy hour. There will be no marketing, no selling, no anything. We're just going to have fun, have a good laugh, have a cocktail or a glass of water, whatever you like, and just have a really fun conversation. If 3 of us show up, then we'll just chat. If 1,000 of us show up, we'll go into breakout rooms or something. We'll figure it all out. So I invite you to join Meg and I and Shelly for happy hour tomorrow. 5 o'clock Mountain Time, all the other times. Welcome to jump in. I'm assuming Shelly will put the registration link in the comments. We're doing a registration link because we don't want any weirdos or unexpected surprises on the Zoom call. So please, I know it's an extra step and a little bit of a hassle, but take the extra moment to register. We already have like a handful of people, like, I don't know, 10 people or something. So I was like, awesome. That's really exciting. We're excited to see you. All right, so, I just got done. Today is GIS Day, which is a Geospatial Information Systems. And so that is basically map nerds. And so they have the Geotech Center is a center that supports geospatial education and NSF funded. And they are holding a virtual GIS Day. So they asked if I would speak at their event today, and it was really fun. It's kind of my former life. I don't do a lot of geospatial work right now, but I tell you, so what I did is as we move through the world and work with amazing companies all over, I see geospatial technology being built in or assumed into a lot of situations. So it was really, so what I decided to do is take a futurist look and think about future trends and how geography and where you are in the world and how that works really is affected and how we're in everything. So it was really fun. We talked about everything from climate change and resource scarcity to space to vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, which are basically drones on steroids. So you can get a human taxi drone. That's all coming. The FAA is actually developing an urban air mobility plan. So it is going to be awesome. So anyway, we got to talk about all kinds of fun future things. And because I'm in business and most geospatial folks are in academics or state and federal government, they don't often get a tie into business. And so I want them to go make a lot of money because business needs them. So that was really fun today. Let's see. Next week we'll not have a live because Happy Thanksgiving. We're going to go spend time and hang out. Meg is getting married next Saturday, so she's going to be getting ready for the run up to the wedding. We're just taking a few days of downtime with all the things happening. Schools now are closing in some places and pandemic stuff is going on and COVID surging and oh my gosh, everything. We're just needing a little downtime and I'm sure you guys do too. So hopefully you'll have some nice quiet days next week. So we will not see you for until 2 weeks from today. Let's see. Shelly tells me, I'm reading Shelly's notes for us, on the 2nd of December. So we'll see you then. We are hiring. Woohoo! So we are hiring. We are hiring right now. We have a whole hiring plan for the next 12 months or so. But the very first person we're hiring is going to be a business development specialist. So they're going to be supporting the team in prospect development and growing the company, supporting Shelly in her work with all the things that she does for external facing So it's really about whoever we hire will be critically important to growing the company beyond where we achieved this year. We have like a 300% growth this year, and we plan on keeping that up next year. So we have finally decided that our small core team needs support to continue to grow. We don't want to limit our ability to grow the company. So we're looking for an amazing person who is detail oriented, who is probably self-driven, but who loves to work in a team and values team members. So reach out. Meg has the official job description because she's HRE that way, and I would never have one. So reach out to Meg and or any of us, PM us, and we can send you over the PDF, and yeah, go from there. So we would love to hear from you. All right, so weekly quote. While each Helix culture type is supported by different messages, an important aspect of balancing accountability with empathy is remembering that everybody needs to feel valued. So, and this is really important, and this is the piece that often is disconnected from how we start feeling disconnected from each other and from our companies, is that we don't see people around us or the mission of the company or the relationship does not feel like we are being valued. And that is a critically important piece of success, both in any relationship or in our careers. So our weekly writing prompt. So we're coming to the end of our giant 2020 journal, but there's a spot in there for your writing prompt for this week. November is a month that we celebrate gratitude. Write a list of 5 things you can do to show gratitude to your team members this holiday season, and then make a plan to make it happen. So how can you show gratitude? I love this question because I just asked last week. So we have a client in the UK, and they're all shut down over there. And so I actually, thinking ahead, Shelley, you'll be so proud of me. I actually asked ahead what address I could send, what address my contact there would be a good address for mail, so I could send her something for Christmas. So I feel very proud that I have the information. I haven't ordered the gift yet, but it's coming. It's coming. I've got to figure it out. We should talk about that next week, by the way. Okay, so how can you show gratitude both to your team members or to the people in your life, especially those that are remote and you can't do nice things for them in person? So how can you make that happen? And frankly, it will really help you feel better. I remember I spoke with an executive about this time last year, and she was really questioning, I think, or maybe it was 2 years ago now. She was really questioning, like, is this the right job for me? Like, I have a rock star career, but I'm not feeling like I'm very motivated. I don't feel like anyone cares. And so my advice to her was, think about the people in your team and how you can make their life the best that you can. And because once you help them feel good and supported, and then they are working better and they will show appreciation, and then it's this awesome feedback loop of happiness and good feeling. And so it's definitely worth thinking about how you can show your gratitude to the people in your life. All right, IX member questions, IX leadership member questions. My work commute is a total of 2 hours a day. Oh, gross. Do you have any tips to make the most of my drive time? I have cell service for the majority of the drive. Well, first of all, my big secret tip for a lot of driving to stay awake when you're tired, or in your case, really bored because you've driven it 1,000 times, is sunflower seeds is the way I can, because if I'm eating, then I stay more focused on driving. But of course, I don't want to be 700 pounds. So low sodium sunflower seeds really helps me stay alert. So just a little road trip tip from me, especially when I'm by myself. But I love audiobooks and podcasts and all that. And the cool thing is that you can download a lot of those podcasts and audiobooks locally to your phone. So even if you don't have cell service the whole time, it doesn't matter. So what I would recommend is and I've been really thinking about how I want to expand myself. Like, the company has been just growing like crazy. We've been really busy. But like the last week or two, I've had a day or two where I have like a normal work schedule where I'm only like working from 6 to 3, or like kind of an 8-hour day. And it's almost like I don't have, when I have time off or downtime, I feel like I'm kind of unfocused. And not that I need to be like focused, but like I don't have a big project. I don't have the garden, right? Like when this summer, when I had free time, I'd go to the garden and I'd putter around. I don't have that right now because it's not gardening time. So I've been really thinking about in what area do I want to grow? In what area do I want to learn stuff? And like even when I was at the garden, like I listened to a book on cognitive behavioral therapy because we talk about behaviors and how to understand behaviors. And I was curious about what the psychologists thought about that. We're not psychologists, but we kind of tangentially interface with what they do. I also listened to a book on, I have this like, part of me is like very tuned in and very sort of spiritual and kind of woo-woo-y. And I'm always interested also in goddess, how people see goddess sort of culture. So like whether it's a goddess from ancient Greece or a goddess from ancient Sumeria or a goddess in Hindi or whatever it might be, current existing belief structures or ancient ones, and how is there a thread through them and that sort of thing. Like I'm always really interested in, and it's interesting, by the way, what I found was that almost every goddess sort of structure, story, or sort of theology around goddesses is that they're all going through massive change. And so it's just super interesting. So, and that's kind of my space, right? Like I'm all the change girl. So, and that has clearly, Rose Group is the change company. So I really think that, find something that really is like way out of your normal work thing, or maybe it is in your work thing. Like order tolerant people tend to really love learning and growing around pieces that relate to what they do or what they already know. So maybe you're an accountant and you want to learn about legal financial crimes, for example. That might be a really cool, interesting thing to learn about. Or I read like silly books that I don't have to use any brain power on. So just novels, because they're distracting and interesting and whatever. So, I would just use that time. Like I walk every day for an hour outside and I'm always listening to a book. And that makes me, even on crappy days, it makes me excited to go for walks because I'm listening to a book, and I don't let myself listen to the book unless I'm on the walk. So, I just, use the time wisely, use the time to grow and be creative or laugh or learn something you didn't know, or, serve you. That's how much of your life can you only serve you? Like none. So use those 2 hours to serve you what you want to do. Prioritize yourself in that time. You could also call old friends and things like that. So that's one thing that I'm horrible at is I have friends that I'm trying to connect with for months before, or I think about connecting with them for months until I finally get a call or a text and we connect somehow. So that's how I would use some of that time too, I think. I work, question number 2. I work in a large retail store. We are changing our inventory system in 2021. No one is planning for the change, all caps. I know that we need more planning to make this smooth and successful transition. As a non-management employee, how do I get my supervisor on board with strategically planning out the change? Unfortunately, probably not a lot. I think the important thing you could do as a non-management employee, because even your supervisor is not going to have much influence here. If you're from a really big box retail store, it's flowing down from corporate and you're probably just going to get it when it shows up, and it's going to be this super painful thing because that's how big corporations do it. I guess what I would do is I would ask questions about how you think it's going to work, or what you think, like, hey, not only, hey, when are we going to get it, but like, hey, do you think it's going to be this way or that way? Or are we going to rearrange the store format? Or are we going to have more brands? Are we going to change how, like, is it going to be just in time delivery on inventory? Or, like, ask some specific questions and ask enough of them in enough time that maybe that will get your supervisor to ask up the chain for her some of those same questions. And so, unfortunately, this is the hardest part about big change, is that the people that feel the change the most powerfully or painfully are often the people doing the work, not the people who are running the company. So I think what you can also do is think through, how can you make it best for you? So let's say next Monday you show up and you have this new inventory system. Well, how can you make it easiest for you? How can you prepare yourself in the sense of, hey, this is how this is going to work. How maybe ask questions about, how do I elevate problems? Or if I run into an issue, what happens? Or how can I help my other people in my group? And so if you take it on as, we really want to make this as easy as I can with the people I work with or for other people, then often that is better received, or at least you can kind of get your head around some of the challenges that are going to happen. So the best you can do if your supervisor is not receptive is to prepare yourself and the people around you to the extent possible, or at least get your head in the game of, okay, this is going to suck for a little while, but if we really buckle down, we'll get through it really a lot faster, and then it won't suck for as long as it could. So I guess that would be my advice on that. It's a pretty tough situation. Let's see. Ooh, this is a good one. What questions can I ask during a job interview to try and decode the company's work culture? Oh, this is really, really good. There's a couple things that you should be asking. One is to think about the role that you have. So is the role that you're applying for going to suit you? So let's say you're an order tolerant person and the job is, well, let's talk about our job opening right now. It's a business development specialist. So what if you read the job description, it's to help us create structure and systems around growing the company, around prospects, around reaching out to people, around supporting the sales side of the company. So it's really a detail-oriented position, and it has, and of course we want creativity because all culture types are creative. It's just how you're creative, right? So if you're going to come apply for that job, first of all, make sure that your culture type is aligned with the role, because if you're a chaos person, then you might think, oh, I want to work with Rachel, Meg, and Shelley. They're amazing. And then you show up and the role sucks. Well, that's not going to serve you. And then the questions to ask to sort of sneak into the culture are things like, and it's not necessarily even the culture if it's good or not. It's really about, is the culture you want to work in. So I would ask questions that are important to you, like, do I have to ask special permission, or what's the wrong thing? What if I have a kid's school event during the day? How do you guys handle that? Or, sometimes my kid has traveling soccer tournaments out of town and I have to leave at like noon on Fridays. What do you feel like? How do you guys deal with that? Or how many holidays do I get? Or so that's kind of this, you ask those structural questions, because if the structure doesn't suit the way that you want to work, then it's very hard to change that often. And then to get into how people are working, what you might ask, which might really surprise the HR person, is to ask questions like, well, out of the last 3 people that quit their jobs here, why did they leave? Or what would you say your biggest challenges around culture? Or what's your retention rate? Because frankly, if the retention rate is 90%, that's pretty good. If the retention rate is 60%, that's crap. Or the other way to say it is, what's your turnover rate, which is how many people are leaving, right? You could ask, what kind of leadership programs do you have? Do you offer development for professional development? Do you, what kind of Well, let me think about that. What other things could you ask? What kind of, how could I work better? Or how do you guys, how would you describe your work environment? Or have you tried to improve your work environment and how? Or right now you'd be like, well, how are we working with COVID? What are your rules? How often have they changed? So there's all kinds of questions you can really start thinking about. And the big challenge to this question is that you have to take yourself out of the idea of I really want this job no matter what. You have to take yourself out of that I need this or I want this and say and put yourself in the place of, well, frankly, does this company deserve me? In the sense of I'm interviewing the company as much as they're interviewing me. So if you take yourself out of I need a job or I want this job and put yourself into does this company suit me, then you'll come up with a whole list of questions that make sense for you. So think through that and take that perspective, and then you'll come up with your own list that resonates with you. All right. Oh my gosh. We have some good news. Some good news. Where's my? I have this giant sign. I usually have a tiny sign when I do it myself, but here we have this giant sign that Peyton and Joey made for us. Some good news. Yay! And I have a globe I should spin. We love the good news. Because life is good news. We are living the dream. We are living the dream. All right, so some good news is Shelly sent this crazy article that I have to read, because if I don't read it exactly right, you won't believe it. Or you might not even believe it when I read it. So the Japanese town deploys growling robot wolves to protect residents from bears. I'm just going to let you think about that for a minute. I assume she's going to put the link in so you can read the entire article for yourself. But basically, they have, I don't think they run around, but they make growling noises to keep bears away. So since the menacing sentinels were introduced into their new habitat on the outskirts of Takikawa, I would guess, Takikawa, in September, no further bear sightings have been reported. So what an amazing creative solution. That does actually bring me to another good news story that I just want to reflect back on from March or April, I think, when we were all trapped in our houses and weren't really sure what this coronavirus thing was, and we were all pretty not really sure what to do. And we, in Spearfish anyway, and in other communities, started howling at 8 o'clock at night so we could at least hear each other and feel connected in some way. And it was stinking fun and just a riot. So I would, that howling story makes me remember that moment and how much fun that was. And we would laugh. You'd get outside and you'd howl and you'd hear your neighbors howl, or people you don't even know howling, and you'd hear howling from all the way across the neighborhood or across the community. And it was just really, really awesome. I'm going to put the link in the comments so you can check it out yourself. It's super fun. That's right, robot wolves. How many stories do you get about robot wolves? Just not enough, I would say. The cool part also about that link that I just put in the comments is that the Good News Network is the source. And so if you go to the Good News Network, you can get lots of good news every day. The other piece that has been really fun for me on the good news front is that there are just, if I look at my sort of curated feed and all of that, there's not a lot of happy stuff on there. But if you can find other places to get your news, there is actually a lot of amazing things going on. And one of my favorite, another sort of techie nerd good news is that the 747 MAX, the Boeing plane that was grounded after 2 crashes, has been reauthorized to fly. So after 2 years-ish of FAA investigation and rework. So that is good news for companies, for airlines to save money, because they're more efficient planes. And frankly, for those of us who fly a lot, we have brand new planes to fly around in. So hopefully they rebrand. Because I really don't want to know I'm flying in a 737 MAX. Because I'd probably be really nervous about it after pandemic land. But anyway, well, I hope you have a fantastic day. And I hope you have a very thankful week. And I hope you can reflect back on 2020 with some gratitude to the people in your life and the good things that have happened this year. So thanks for being here, everybody, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Oh, lead powerfully and change the world. Thanks, everybody.